Good afternoon. Welcome to the Baseball and Beer Podcast. I'm your host, John Nee, coming to you live from Sea Isle City, New Jersey, where I'm enjoying a nice vacation, much like the Phillies offense lately. Where do we begin? Why don't I start off with the beer I'm drinking, since at least I've been able to stomach this. So I'm drinking a Dogfish Head, craft brewery, Blue Hen Pilsner. 5% alcohol, very good Pilsner. Got a case of this down Total Wine in Delaware for vacation. This is the last one. Had a few today up at the pool, and good tasting beer. Anyway, so let's just jump right into the Phillies here. So another loss today. The Yankees swept them right out of their own ballpark. That's their fifth straight series loss. Quite honestly, this team has not been good since the All-Star break. 12 wins and 15 losses. To be honest, they haven't been good since the midway point of the season, the 81 game point, where they came out 53 and 28 in the first half. And so far, they're 12 and 15 since in the second half. So they have not been hitting. They got a very tough schedule coming up in August. 28 games against a lot of teams with winning records. Where, to be quite honest with you, I think it would be an accomplishment to go 14-14, play 500 ball. And at this point, that might be very tough for them. The Braves are on the verge of winning again today, which would knock them 6.5 games behind the Phillies, after the Phillies were 10 up at the All-Star break. So they're closing some ground on them. And like I said, they got a tough August coming. September is a little easier, a tad bit easier, not much. They should be able to come out with a winning record. So, we have 65 wins right now, 65 and 43, probably a 6.5 game lead, like I mentioned, by the end of the night. Hopefully out of these final 54 games, the Phillies 30 wins, 24 losses would be a great accomplishment. That would give them 95 wins. They're going to have to earn that. This race looked like it was over at the All-Star break. It might get a little tougher with the Braves. I don't know, maybe the Mets lost again today, so I think they're going to tail off a bit. But the Braves are the Braves. They seem to win every year. They've had some injuries, so they might hang around. The Phillies go into August and come out of that 14-14, and the Braves, 17-11, and gain 3 more. All of a sudden, you're 3.5 games up going into September. So the Phillies got to get their act together. They've been playing really bad, and they didn't start hitting. The stars have to start hitting. Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Real Muto, Castellanos, all these guys. These guys are paid what they're paid to do. Harper's won for his last 30, and quite honestly, that's unacceptable. I mean, they have to get going. It's that simple. So, God, that's good. Their pitching. Pitching's been okay lately. It was their strength in the first half. They're starting to show little chinks in the armor. Ranger Suarez is on the IL. Bad back. That's been bothering him. He's been on the IL twice now, so hopefully that's not something that's going to linger the rest of the year. They've been lucky with Tyler Phillips. Has pitched 3 great games for him out of nowhere. So, that's been a godsend to an offense that's been hurt. And, the bullpen, a couple trades here. Dominguez is gone. Soto's gone. Soto was pitching okay. Dominguez, not so much. His ERA was in the 4. He just hasn't been able to get back to what he was a few years ago. It looked like he was going to be a dominant closer. Soto was brought over here. He was a closer in Detroit. He really never seemed to grasp that role. Alvarado's been struggling for the last month, if not longer. So, basically you got Hoffman down there. You got Strahm down there. Kirk Curran's been struggling a little bit. I mean, they all been struggling. To be honest with you, other than Strahm and Hoffman. So, they went out. Dombrowski made a couple trades. Did they move the needle? Not for me. I mean, this team had a chance to. There were some really good players out there. You had some good relievers. You had some good outfielders out there. The Phillies had the prospects to do it, and they kind of didn't do it. They improved the team. Carlos Estevez, look, he can close. California, so that's an upgrade over Dominguez. Tanner Banks from the White Sox is a left-handed specialist. Probably have the same role with Soto. I don't really know if that's an upgrade or maybe just towing the line, same type of player. So, Estevez is a little upgrade over Dominguez. You know, will Thompson use him as a closer? Who knows? You know, he'll get some close opportunities, obviously, but you know, Thompson likes matchups. So, you know, you can see him in the 8th inning, and you can see, you know, Hoffman or Strom in the 9th, or Alvarado, God forbid, you know, unless he gets it together again. But you just can't trust him. So, you know, they had a really good chance to really go out. I mean, Austin Hayes, they went out and got an outfielder. Upgrade over Pache. Looks like they're going to give him every chance to be the starting left fielder. You know, that's not really blowing my doors off. It's a nice player. Kind of reminds me of the Marsh trade back in 2022. You know, it was a need. They upgraded. You know, they didn't go out and get a Lexus here, guys. They went from a Honda CR-V to a Honda Pilot with these trades. So, you know, they had a really good chance. So they just didn't do it. Is Dombrowski's hands tied? Possibly, since he's been here for the 3 years. I mean, Dave Dombrowski was known to move prospects, to make the big trades, to go all in. And quite frankly, he hasn't done that in 22, 23, or 24 at these trade deadlines. I mean, they've all been minor moves, minor upgrades. They're holding on to prospects. Who knows? Could this be Middleton and management saying, look, we spent a lot of money on the Harpers, the Castellanos, Schwarber, Turner, Wheeler, Nola. We're going to try to win with these guys this year and next, and if that don't get done, hey, we have these young prospects. Maybe, you know, maybe a Starling Caba comes up, and maybe they move Trey Turner, they trade him, and go with Caba. Maybe Crawford comes up for Castellanos in a year or two. You know, Tate, good young catcher. JT's probably only got a year or two left, so he could be moved while he still has value. Maybe they move Wheeler and Nola for Painter and Abel. Who knows what they're doing right here? It just feels to me like Dombrowski's hands possibly, you know, could be tied. Maybe not. Maybe they're just looking to slowly replace some of these guys like a JT in 2 or 3 years when his time's up. And Castellanos' contract's up in 2 years. You know, Crawford should be ready. You know, I don't know. I feel they really blew a chance to really do something big here. Names that you heard: Tanner Scott. He went to San Diego. San Diego's in a wild card spot. He could be closing against the Phillies in an NLDS. Arizona went out and got Josh Bell. We all know what he's done to the Phillies over the years, so I'm sure we're going to see him hitting 600 in the playoff series against the Phillies if he makes it. The Dodgers went out and got Jack Flaherty. Let's be honest here. The Phillies have had the best record in baseball for the first half, best team in baseball, this and that. My opinion, that title belongs to the Dodgers. You know, they've held their own. They're in first place, a few games behind the Phillies. They were missing 4 of their top 5 starters for a while. Mookie Betts was out, and they just continued to play well and continued to stay in first place. So they're going to be a very formidable team. Can the Phillies beat them? Absolutely. Sure they can. If they can get their stuff back together, this and that. But it just feels the Phillies really did not go all in with the chance they had. The names, again, Tanner Scott was out there for them. They could have had him. And the one I really liked, Mason Miller and Brett Rooker. That would have pushed the needle. Mason Miller is, hands and away, the hardest throwing closer in baseball, with the best slider in baseball. He would have been a lights-out closer for his team. Brett Rooker has power. Maybe he's the guy who would have came in and injected some life into this offense that's struggling. And you know, they just, for some reason, they didn't get the deal done. Maybe they value these prospects, and we all know how that goes. You know, for every Chase Utley and Ryan Howard, there's a Don Brown and a Mickey Moniak or a Sixto Sanchez. So you don't know with prospects. And Painter's coming off a UCL injury. Could he be the next Steve Carlton? Sure. Could also be the next Sixto Sanchez for all we know. So, you know, they have a better look at these prospects, I guess, than we do. And or maybe Dombrowski's hand. Maybe there's another, you know, maybe there's an alternative move the Phillies have. Like, they're not going to continue to spend this money two years down the road, and they're going to move on from some of these higher priced athletes and bring some of the younger players in and try to move them while they have some value in Turner, a Real Muto, a Wheeler, and Nola again. That's quite possible. Maybe even a Bryson Stott. You know, Stott hasn't been playing good. Maybe he goes for a combo. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. You know, they held on to Utley and Howard and them too long. Maybe and they had a 10-year down period. Maybe they don't want to do that again. So maybe they really felt they needed to hang on to them guys. And you know, Dombrowski's telling you this team is good enough to win it all. Are they? I don't know. It's going to be a tough playoff run. I mean, you know, people are talking about the Braves and Mets. I'm not really overly concerned with them. They may not even make the playoffs. If the Phillies do hang on and win the East here, I could see St. Louis, Arizona, and San Diego being the 3 wild card teams. any one of them are a formidable opponent for the Phillies. They all made big moves at the deadline. They all improved themselves. Obviously, the Dodgers are a tough team, and the Brewers are a good team. So this is not going to be a cakewalk back to the NLDS or even the World Series. And then when they get to the World Series, you could be dealing with the Yankees or Orioles again, who are very good teams. So again, we have a tough August coming, a tough September, something that looked like it was this division race looked over just a few weeks ago with the All-Star break. I think now that the Phillies are really going to have to, get it going, get it back together. Like I said earlier, 54 games to go. You go 27-27, all of a sudden you're only looking at something like 92 wins. Maybe that doesn't win a division. I don't know. I don't know what the Braves. Are the Braves going to get hot at some point? You would like to think they may. I mean, they're good every year, so they do have a lot of injuries. So they made a couple minor moves. So possibly, Philly's got to get their stuff together. I do think they're going to hang on. I do think they're going to come out of this okay, turn it around a little bit. August is going to be closer to a 500 record, and then I think September they have a good chance to go something like 16-10, 15-11, which will get them to the 94, 95 wins they have, and hopefully their offense is clicking again at that point. We all saw what happened last year in Arizona when the offense shut down like it currently is right now, and they are a streaky team, so I guess it's better to get this out of the way now over the next couple weeks, and get hot sometime in August, September, and stay hot through October, and see if we can win this whole thing. So that's all I have for you tonight. Have a great night and enjoy the rest of the week. Go Phils.